Hi everybody, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be another fall inspired makeup look using all affordable products and then also using the Jaclyn Hill palette. This has been really requested to do some fall makeup looks with, as well as doing, more affordable options on the face. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. So if you are excited to see an affordable fall makeup look, why don't we go ahead and get started. Alright, so I am going to start off with the eyes. I do have them primed and then also set. And like I said, I'm going to be using the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette. Now, I wanted to do a full face, affordable fall look because I've seen that one being requested quite a bit, but then everyone was asking me also for this palette. And so I asked a couple of people because I said, well, Morphe Brushes is an affordable brand, but I thought this palette was kind of priced a little bit higher and a little out of Morphe's like kind of traditional palette range. But people said they still wanted to see it incorporated in here, and I've seen a lot of other people doing affordable looks also using this palette. So I did want to go ahead and point that out, but I only do makeup tutorials once a week on my channel. They're usually posted on Fridays, and they're not necessarily always a tutorial. Sometimes they're first impressions, sometimes they're just trying new makeup, things like that. So I don't know how many more like tutorial style videos I'm going to do. So this palette had been so requested, so I wanted to find a way to be able to incorporate it. It is $38, so like I said, I just feel like it's a bit higher. Most of the Morphe palettes are usually around the $22 range, but you can use discount codes. There's always a Morphe discount code floating around, so you can knock some money off of the palette to make it a little bit cheaper. But so to go ahead and get started, I'm first going to use the third shade, which is called Silk Cream, and I'm going to use a brush from Morphe. It's part of their Copper Dreams brush set, and I just really enjoy the blending brushes in that set. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this into my crease. I'm going to pick up the shade Creamsicle, just using another blending brush from that same set. So of course there's 35 different shades in here, so obviously there's a lot of different options you can do. I've done a lot of different options with this palette. I'm also going to apply Creamsicle in the crease and just a little bit lower than Silk Cream. So there's a lot of different options you can do, but one of my go-tos with this palette is some of these beautiful reds and yellows in here and oranges. I just think it is so pretty. So that's what I want to do today, especially since people are really enjoying these types of looks for fall, myself included. So that's what I'm going to do, but I think I actually want to do an all matte look. A lot of times I come in with at least one shimmer, but I think I'm going to try to keep this look all matte. So I'm just slowly working up Creamsicle a little bit lower in the crease. It's a pretty pigmented yellow, so if you go in too heavy-handed, it can be a little intense. So I just work slowly to build it up. I'm going to grab a third blending brush, and I'm going to come into this shade right here, which is called Hunts. And this shade, I feel like I can say it with a few shades in this palette, how I say this is my favorite shade, but this is definitely one where I say this is my favorite shade. It's incredibly pigmented, but still really easy to blend, and just, it's just awesome. That's really all there is to it. So I'm just going to start by patting this on the outer part of my eye. That's really where I want to get the majority of the product down, and then I'll slowly start to blend it into the crease, not too far, and then flick it out here at the end. I don't want it to come in too close to the inner part of my eye. I want this one mostly focused out here, and then flick it out a little bit and into the crease. And I'm going to take a Morphe M505. I think this is kind of like a blending brush. It's just a little bit on the different side because I'm going to take this shade here in the middle. It's called Roxanne. And I'm just going to pat this on the lid, mostly focused on the inner part. Like I said, I want an all matte eye, but I want all the shades to really kind of complement and blend into one another. I'm just going to kind of pat Roxanne onto the lid. I didn't want anything super overwhelming, like a really dark color or a really light color. I wanted to be able to see just like a gradual like fade of everything, kind of what what I'm going for with this look here. So I'm just gonna kind of pat and blend. I feel like this brush is kind of unique for that because it's like dense enough that I feel like I can pat the shade on there, but then it's also kind of like blending brush too. So then once I've got that shade down, I'm gonna pick up just a tiny bit of creamsicle and kind of go through and blend everything together and kind of just bring a little bit more of that yellow back. I'm actually going to switch over to my face for a little bit, so I know that the eyes look pretty crazy right now, but this is always the point in the makeup steps where you're like, is this going to come together or is it not going to come together? But I am going to press pause on the eyes right now because I have all the shadows laid down that I want to. I don't think I'm going to do liner or lashes for this look because I'm trying to switch things up a little bit. In last week's video, I did winged liner and then I also shared false lash tips and tricks, how I applied them, showed a demo, things like that. So I'll have last week's tutorial linked down below if you want to see that. So I thought, even though, you know, we're still kind of doing like a red-orange fall look, I thought I could still try to mix it up a little bit and not do liner or lashes. So I'm gonna move on to my face for the time being. I'm gonna go ahead and spray my face with some of this Pixi Hydrating Milky Mist. It's one of my favorite mists from Pixi. It says it's a youth preserving mist. So I like to feel like that's why I like it, because you know, 30. We need to preserve our youth. Like really make sure we preserve it, okay? Okay. So for my foundation, I'm going to use this one from Rimmel. This is the Clean Finish Foundation, and this is in the shade 340 Nude. My friend Mickey sent this to me to try out. I tried it one other time, and so I wanted to try it again and see what I think of it. The applicator is really interesting. Kind of reminded me a bit of the Wet n Wild applicator. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of like paddle it on to my face. The shade match is actually pretty good. I think when my summer tan completely fades, that this is going to be a nice shade match for, you know, kind of like my winter skin. That sounds weird, but a good shade match for me in the winter. Let's go ahead and go with that. So paddled some on to my face here, and then I'm going to use my L'Oreal sponge. This is one of my favorite sponges, and it's from the drugstore. I'm just going to go ahead and blend all that in. For concealer, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Concealer. I picked mine up from Ulta. I don't think it's my favorite concealer ever, but I don't mind it. I think it's okay. The smell is pretty strong, which I don't love. I'm going to go ahead and also kind of clean up the eyeshadows with the concealer, since I didn't use like tape or anything like that. The shade's also a little bit dark for me. I usually like a little bit of a lighter under eye, but it'll do. It'll do. And then I'm going to take my L'Oreal sponge again and just go ahead and blend it out. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of baking right now. I'm going to use the Pixi, the translucent powder from them. It's called the Quick Fix Powder. So a lot of people, I saw a lot of people complaining about the packaging because there's actually like this puff in here. And if you pop the lid off, there's the puff there and you can, you know, put it on your face. I saw a lot of people complaining about the packaging, those who have it. But if you twist it off, then you just have a bunch of loose powder right here. So, because I totally understand, I would hate putting translucent powder on with a puff, especially because I only use it for my under eyes. But if you just kind of pop the bottle half open instead of popping the top, your translucent powder is just all right here. And then I just dip my sponge right into it. I only use a small amount. I don't tend to heavily bake very often, but you can get a small amount onto your sponge. And then I'm just going to go ahead and apply that to my under eyes. Yeah, I just have that sit there for about a minute or two. And then I'm just going to take my Morphe E3 and dust away any excess powder. For my bronzer, I'm going to use the No7 Bronzer in Caramel. This is like one of my all-time favorite bronzers. It is so good. It is so beautiful. I love that it has a mirror. Number 7 is drugstore. You can also find it in Ulta. And I'm going to use a Moda Metallic Buffer Brush. I've also been really loving this brush for bronzer. I said that Rimmel foundation is just a little bit light for me right now since my summer skin is sticking around. So crazy though, this weather, because last weekend I was up in Iowa City. I live in Iowa. I was in Iowa City tailgating the Iowa game, Iowa Penn State, and it's late September and it was 93 degrees. My phone said it's 93 degrees, feels like 101. It was crazy. No one knew what to do because when you tailgate a football game, usually it's like a long sleeve shirt, you know, boots, flannel. Like all the girls were mad, like, I just wanted to wear my flannel today. I mean, me, I'm loving life because I love warm weather. Like, give it to me all year round. But it was so funny because it was just crazy, crazy how hot it was. But I kind of liked it. Also going to bronze forehead a little bit as well. So when I was waiting for my camera to cool down, I did go ahead and fill in my brows. I've been trying out so many different brow products lately. So if you've noticed in any of my videos, my brows looking kind of wild. Because I've not only been trying out different products like from different brands, but I've also been trying out like actual different types of brow products, not just pencils that I normally stick to. So just so you know, I'm no brow expert yet. I'm a little bit better, but I'm no expert. And sometimes when I try a new product, I'm kind of like, what am I doing? This doesn't look like the other thing. But I also put a little bit of liner into my waterline. This is from Colourpop in collaboration with Kathleen Lights. This is the Mr. Bing liner. It's just a nice brown liner, but I feel like not a lot of people talk about the Colourpop liners. I got asked the other day my favorite affordable eyeliner, and I was like, Colourpop, they're like $5 and they are really nice. They have a huge variety of colors and they stay in the waterline all day. So Colourpop has really good liners. So I'm going to come back into the palette and I'm going to take my Morphe M507. It's just a pencil brush, and I'm kind of going to do exactly what we did on the lids, but in reverse, if that makes sense. So first I'm going to come in with Roxanne on the lower lash line, then I'm going to come in with Huns, then I'm going to come in with Creamsicle, and then if I need it, I'll blend it out together. I'll come in with the Silk Cream shade. So I'm going to try to make this eye look pretty simple as well. I feel like sometimes looking at, like when I look at myself in the viewfinder, I'm like, whoa, this is not beginner. Sometimes when I see beginner, I think like really natural and neutral and simple, you know, things like that. So I am going to take some of Silk Cream and just kind of blend everything together. But that's kind of what I can think of when it comes to beginner. And I know that we used, you know, the 4 shades in here, and that might seem like a lot too, but really it's just one on top of the other, on top of the other, blending, and then one shade. I mean, once you go in and you start doing it, I think that you would see that it's actually not too complicated, and these shadows really do blend well. So even if you're not the best at blending, which is totally me, like I am not at all, no professional blender here, let me tell you, but these work really well together and blend really well together. So I also wanted to make it somewhat of a, if not beginner friendly, you know, intermediate friendly. How about that? I'm going to pick up a smaller brush, the Morphe E36, and come into the first shade here, which is in Light. And I'm going to use this on the inner corner of my eye and also on the brow bone. I really like doing this step because obviously you can see that, you know, I really put the first shadows pretty high up there. So it's nice to be able to come in with this shade and kind of clean it up a little bit. And then I think I'm going to clean up the shadows just a little bit on the outer part, especially since we're not doing lashes. I think I'm just going to bring in the shadows just a little bit. I don't want to lose too much though, because I still want kind of that flame effect, but we're just going to do a little bit. So I'm going to dot a little bit of concealer there. I'm just going to use my sponge again and just kind of clean it up just a little bit more. Ooh, yeah, I think I like that even more, actually. Yeah. Still a flame. Still a flame. But not like a full-on fire, you know? I'm going to go ahead and add mascara. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. I know everyone got really excited for this mascara. I really do like it as well. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite holy grail mascara, but of course I do wear lashes a lot, so sometimes I feel really unfair when I judge a mascara. I feel like some mascaras just really can't give me what I want because I want lashes to my eyebrows, but this is a pretty good one, especially for a drugstore option. Once the mascara is on, then I am done with the eye, so I'm going to finish off the face using a blush from Colourpop. This is in Quarters. This is one of their Super Shock blushes, and this is like one of my absolute favorite fall blushes. I think it is such a beautiful color, and I like to apply the Colourpop blushes with a dual fiber brush. This is the Morphe M427. M427 is that one. It has the same texture as like the Colourpop Super Shock shadows, kind of like that moussey type of texture. For highlight, I'm going to use Pixi in collaboration with Aspen Ovard. This one is in Santorini Sunset. These highlights are really, really pretty. Pixi can be found at Target. The highlights, the blushes, like these are really, really nice quality from Pixi. I'm going to use the brush that came with the, I think this was with the Miriam, yeah, the Miriam NYC collab, but it has like kind of a bronzer brush, contour brush on one end, and then a highlight brush on the other. So I'm just going to go ahead, like seriously, the highlights are so pretty. Not really like metallic and not really, not glittery at all, but just very like hi, I'm gonna glow today. So since we went pretty dramatic on the eyes, I'm gonna do a more neutral lip. This is a NYX Liquid Suede. The Liquid Suedes from NYX are so, so good. This one is in the shade Sandstorm, and I immediately fell in love with it. It's just a really nice kind of brown nude. So after the lip is done, then this look is complete. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing a fall affordable makeup look from me using the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. Please leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you think. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing like no liner, no lashes, since I know that's kind of more of like the norm for me, so I want to switch it up. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Everything that I used will be linked in the description box down below. As always, if you have any other fall inspired tutorials or any other tutorials or looks in general that you would want to see, please do leave them in the comments down below for me. But if you guys did enjoy this video, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up. I hope that you will also consider subscribing before you go, and I will catch you guys on Sunday for my next video.